inside your bedroom. We stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm. Physical silence, no need to speak a word. Lay here beside me. Don't wanna move too fast. Your lips on the floor, sipping on your love, sipping on your love. I never dare to ask if we're gonna last. I'm needing all your love, needing all your love. Oh, when you move, oh my God, you know you play your cards so right. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, just in the dirty clubs and diamonds. Take me, oh my God, oh, but we'll hold our faces straight. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, I'm a sucker for hearts. Your blood is pumping, I feel it in your veins, surfing your heat waves. Your taste is different, somehow it makes me brave. Chemical nature. Don't wanna move too fast. Your lips on the floor, sipping on your love, sipping on your love. Oh, when you move, oh my God, you know you play your cards so right. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, just in the dirty clubs and diamonds. Take me, oh my God, oh, but we'll hold our faces straight. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, I'm a sucker for hearts, hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts, hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts. Oh my God, I'm a fool. Thought I'd never fall into you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so cruel how I'm loving the things you do. Ooh, yeah. Oh, when you move, oh my God, you know you play your cards so right. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, just in the dirty clubs and diamonds. Take me, oh my God, oh, but we'll hold our faces straight. Oh, I am a sucker for hearts, I'm a sucker for hearts, hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts, hearts, hearts. I'm a sucker for hearts. Too fast, your lips on the floor, sipping on your love, sipping on your love. I'm a sucker for hearts.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. It has been a while since I've gone live like this. I haven't done a live like launch day in a very, very long time. I'm trying to remember if I did one for my very first book. I don't know. That's been a while. Guys, I am like, it's really interesting release days. I always spend a lot of time like reflecting on release days because in some ways they are really, really exciting. It's a big mix of emotions, a little bit of anxiety, and also sort of bittersweet because each one I do a little different, and with each one I have been more successful and have learned a lot along the way. So today's been like kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. It's been good. I was a little nervous there this morning when I woke up and I saw that the book had launched and the paperback still hadn't connected yet. Because I always hit go on the paperback version the day before release because it can take it up to like 72 hours on Ingram Spark to show up. And so I always do it about 24 hours in advance. And sure enough, it took about that 20, it took, did not take 24 hours, but it was definitely not until like 10 o'clock, I think today, that the paperback for Curse of Wings and Darkness connected, and it is now available online. So I don't think it's connected wide yet. So I don't think it's quite everywhere, but it is on Amazon, and Ingram Spark says it's live with them also. So if you are somebody who's been holding out on purchasing because you want the physical copy, you should be able to go and grab that now. So there is a link in the description box if you need like a quick link to go and find all of that stuff. If you click, speaking of really fun things, let me come over here because I want to share something with you guys. Because if you click that link in the description box, that will take you to all of my books online. You can also find this one. Oh my goodness. So, Curse of Blood and Sights is now available for pre-order on Amazon. So, just like with Curse of Wings and Darkness, Curse of Blood and Sight will only be on pre-order, at least for the time being, in the ebook version. So, you can go to Amazon, you can go ahead and secure a copy of that for $5.99 in Kindle. Oh my goodness. It has been such a lead up for this book too, because this last week we released the title of Curse of Blood and Sights. That was super fun. And then I showed you guys the cover yesterday. And then today I was able to hop on and put in pre-order information so that that is now available for you guys. So if you're looking at it, you'll now see that there is a pre-order date of October 1st, 2025. So this book will be available in a year exactly. The reason being, what I've found has worked best for me as an author is to sort of oscillate between projects just to keep my creative cup full. And since I do write some pretty heavy things, like Curse of Wings and Darkness is, it's been interesting because I haven't pitched it this way, but some of my ARC readers have described it as a dark romance. It's not something I have really pitched, but this book does get steamier in the remaining books in the series. So maybe it is a bit more of a dark romance. But just to keep myself fresh and to do my best work for each storyline, it's to me, I've noticed it's easier to do my best work when I work between different projects. So that was why I introduced over a year ago, I switched to my fluffy romance Winter Witches, which is still a fantasy romance, but it is much more contemporary feeling. It's much lighter. It's really fluffy. And in doing so, when I came back to my darker projects, I actually found that I approached them with a lot more enthusiasm is not the right word because I'm always enthusiastic about writing, but I was able to jump back into that more serious project without feeling like it was bogging me down. I actually worked through it a lot quicker. So that is why this book will release in a year time. So coming up next, we have Winter Witches, which is a re-release. I was just talking about Winter Witches. It will release November 1st. And then today, Frozen as Friends went off to my editor. So I am planning to release Frozen as Friends in the next few months, close to Christmas time. I have a date in mind. I'm kind of keeping that on hold before I announce it to the world because I want to get some editing things sorted out. But Winter Witches will be November. Frozen as Friends, which comes after that one, should be December. And then we are going to go ahead and get pre-orders up and ready for the final book in the season, the winter season of Witches series. I have not released the title for that yet, but I already have the title and I also already have the cover made for that book as well. So I am really excited. This fall has been a whirlwind and it has been a lot of things for me. So thank you guys for following along with my journey, sticking with me and supporting me in every way that you guys have supported me. So through like sharing things online, kind words online, buying my books, of course. Thank you guys so much. So I really wanted to wait and show this to you guys here in the live stream. So if you would like to go ahead and pre-order book 2, you can do that. So yeah, one pro, just from an author standpoint of going ahead and listing Curse of Blood and Sight, is that if you're a Kindle reader, when you get to the end of the ebook, I'm sure you guys have seen, if it is a series, Kindle will naturally suggest book 2 to you. And so I decided to go ahead and put up Curse of Blood and Sight on pre-order. That's something I've never done before. I don't usually put pre-orders up more than like a month or two out from release, actually. And so I decided to go ahead and do that because I was hoping I could get some people at the end of book 1. That way everyone could secure their copy before, hopefully, nobody forgets about it by next October. So, holy moly. Thank you guys for bearing with me. That was a long intro. We're going to do a bunch of other things than just listen to me talk, I swear. So Jessica's here. Hello, Jessica. She had lots of things to say. So much fun coming in the future. I am so excited for you. Thank you so much. I am very, very excited. I cannot believe that just in this fall season, I'm releasing 3 books. That is wild. October, November, December, 3 months in a row, 3 releases. I have never released books that fast in my entire life. The quickest turnaround I had was a little over a year ago when I first released Winter Witches. I released it right after I had published I think it may have been Shade of the Shadowlands. I think Shade of the Shadowlands came out and then Winter Witches was like 2 months after, but I had written that book the Christmas before, so it had just been sitting completely finished, ready to be published since like the summer before. So this time around, I'm definitely working on deadline because I just had to wrap up. Actually, this morning, I actually had to go in and fix some things in Frozen as Friends before I shipped it out to my editor. So I was really working on a deadline with that one. And so it has been a little bit of a crazy season, but that's just kind of the way I write and I work best. I tend to work best just flying by the seat of my pants. So that's been good for me. All right. So let's see. We will take a couple questions, I think, also from people on like Instagram and stuff. Questions I've gotten along the way this last week or so that I've just kind of been sitting on. I've answered for people who've asked me, of course, but I've been holding on to some really interesting ones for myself for like this kind of a video. So we'll do that also. Before I get too far into the video and lose some people, I want to go ahead and I want to share my screen again because I want to go ahead and do the giveaway, the pre-order giveaway. So what I did this time around, and I think I'm going to do something very, very similar for Curse of Blood and Sight, minus the gift card. I don't think I'll be giving away anything like that. I think it'll be something else. I want to do like some digital download or something instead. Because rather than there being like a singular winner, I kind of just want to reward everybody. So I don't think it'll be a giveaway per se, as it will just be general pre-order incentives. But this time around, what I did, if you pre-ordered Curse of Wings and Darkness, your name got dropped into a giveaway if you filled out the giveaway form. So we are going to click through that. Out of all of my pre-orders, I did not have nearly as many people for this giveaway, but we were going to go ahead and spin this wheel. I've never done this kind of thing before, so hopefully it'll all go well. I've already tested it out to be sure. Okay, so Faye is our giveaway winner. I'm gonna make a note of that before I forget. So Faye gets the gift card. Everybody that entered into the giveaway, everybody who did that got the incentives, which was if you're a Patreon member, it's stuff you already have from Patreon. It was the parts to Trial of Flame and Wings, because Trial of Flame and Wings is written in several different parts, which is a style I've never written in before, but it fits for this book super, super well. It's much more of an epic fantasy. It is a fantasy romance. There is some really cool, really steamy things in that book that I have planned. But it's much more of your classic fantasy world book. So if you liked Fourth Wing and Serpent and the Wings of Night, I've been saying those two books. There are elements from both of those. So it's very dragon-esque for sure. So if that's your thing, Trial of Flame and Wings is something you may enjoy. October is just a big month because we have a lot of release week information. I did Frozen as Friends. I just finished writing that. But I also have a artist working on the cover images for Trial of Flame and Wings, which comes out in the spring. And so I am so excited to get back to writing on that project. All the vibes. It's like I said, Fourth Wing vibes, Serpent and the Wings of Night vibes. There's a trial for marriage in there. So it's an arranged marriage kind of thing with a super strong female character, really like her. And lots of other secrets built into this world. The parts that I sent out as a incentive that you can also get on Patreon. I plan to go through and formally I have to revamp that document. So I plan on going through and updating that and then putting that back to Patreon for you guys. But those parts explain the mythology of this world and it gives you a lot of backstory. So really fun. Yeah, if that's kind of your style, Viking-esque. I've been listening to a lot of Viking music and a lot of Sleep Token while I write that book. And I am so excited to get back into that world and start writing that for the spring. So yeah, it has been a massive whirlwind this fall. Tyler, hello. So excited for you. Thank you so much. It has been crazy in my world and I'm very tired as a result. I am like running on fumes over here and coffee, which I made just before I sat down for this live stream. Oh my goodness, it has been so much fun. Other things that I am planning to work on that will be coming, I don't think will be coming quite yet. I don't think I'm going to release a lot of this stuff until the new year, but I'm planning to do some different things with my YouTube channel. And I'm planning on using YouTube. What I plan to be doing with YouTube is going to trickle over into Patreon. Patreon will get some exclusive things from that. But I'm planning to launch something new and I'm currently gearing up to start working on that because I want to have like a back catalog before we launch into the new year because I will be jumping into the publication process again for Trial of Flame and Wings. And then I'm also hoping to wrap up writing that book before the spring and write in the spring, planning to write on both the final book for my Winter Witches, my Seasons of Witches. Book 1 follows the oldest Sinclair sister, Madison. Book 2, Frozen as Friends, follows Margot, the middle sister. And the third book for the winter season is Marley, the youngest sister. And Marley is a lot of fun. And I am just kind of like dying to step into her shoes. She's just really fun to write about, and her love interest is already like I have so many things in my brain for him. He's just a lot of fun. So I want to get around to writing that book as well as Curse of Blood and Sight in the spring season. And then again, it'll be in the fall. We'll have 2 releases, not 3. We should have 2. So we should have Curse of Blood and Sight in October 1st, 2025. And then we should have that last season of Witches book for Marley in December or late November, maybe late November instead. But holy moly, so much planning has been going on. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to know about, like publishing, my process, anything about my books and my projects, leave them in the comments. I did get a few, so let me pull out my phone because I did get some interesting ones mostly from Instagram. That's where I get a lot of my engagement. So I did have some on Instagram that I can come back around to and we can chat about. I had a good old classic pantser or plotter a while back because I think this has been a while. It was when I was posting updates again about all of my releases for the fall. Somebody asked, are you a pantser or a plotter? And that is a question I get every so often. I've answered it several times, but I feel like my answer has changed slightly the more I've published. I've always said that I'm definitely a pantser, and that still kind of stands. I'm a bit of a mix. What I'll do is I outline. I think it's Dan Brown. I use Dan Brown's 7-point plot method. So you get 7 plot points, and you fill them in, and it's your classic plot mountain, but there's a couple extra in there. So I use that method because it gives me all like the turns and stuff. So not just the overarching plot, but it allows me space to write in the subplots, which I enjoy. But even with that method, I call it like a skeleton. I loosely outline. So I do that document, very short, 7-point plots, just notes here and there. And then when I sit down to write, I typically will adjust something as I go. So I'm still pantsing. I'm still making some things up as I go. And occasionally that will change a bit of the outline, but usually it just works in between it. So the story may change a little bit, like a character's motivation may come out a tad differently than what I had intended, but it usually doesn't ever change one of those plot points or outcomes. So I'm a little bit of both. But I thought that was an interesting one because that does come up every so often. And it is something that has changed a lot as I've grown. So I like to answer it for personal growth reasons. It's nice to reflect on that. Let's see. What was another one? Did you like, this is about Publish and Thrive. So it's about what I thought about Publish and Thrive. So I have been meaning to take Publish and Thrive, which is the author, Sarah Cannon. She runs the YouTube channel Heart Breathings. I've been wanting to take her course for years, probably like 3 years, just about. It would have been after I published book 1 that I kind of discovered her course, and I've been wanting to take it ever since. And the honest truth is the price point kind of turned me off. And there was still a lot out there for free that I hadn't explored and learned on my own. And so I wanted to see what I could find and discover for what I needed and what fit my author business and my writing goals. And so I did a lot of that for the last few years. And then this year, I felt like I was in a really good place as far as knowing what I was doing. And still feeling like I had some gaps in areas. And so I decided to go ahead and commit to it because not only is it a course that teaches you publishing stuff and business stuff and how to schedule out your time and just the reality of being an author, you get a lifetime access to the course. So as she adds to it every year, you get all the updates. And it also gives you access to the Facebook group for the course. So There are people who have taken this course years ago who are very active in there still, and people bounce ideas off each other, and they'll pitch something like, hey, I had this idea. Anyone interested to go in on this? And it was just a really cool community of authors, and I was able to find people writing some of the same things. It was really, really helpful to get the community too. And so I'm so glad I took it, because even when we would get to sections where I felt very well versed, she had a take on some things that was different, like a different way of thinking about something that I'd never considered. And so I really do feel like I got my money's worth. And if anything, I feel like I got my money's worth just because of that community and because she's constantly updating information. And so that alone, I feel like was well worth the cost. So I really enjoyed Publish and Thrive. What course is this again? Publish and Thrive by Sarah Cannon, Sarra, Sarah. And I think she usually does a fall and a spring cohort, she calls it. So I took this fall class, and I believe she usually updates it just a little, and then she runs the course again in the spring. And so I'm planning on sticking through and maybe speed running through some of those modules again when she runs the course again, and asking questions, or just at least watching the live streams. Every week she did a live stream for the course where to answer questions people had throughout the modules. And so that was really nice, because I was able to ask my questions and get them answered. There were questions other people had that were helpful for me, things that I didn't think about potentially doing. So it was really cool. She does a bunch of other courses too, but Publish and Thrive is the one that I think she's most known for. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I really like her course. I think it's super beneficial. I especially think if you are just starting out, that would be really, really good place to start, would be with her course, because she walks you beginning to end as far as starting your business with all the business stuff through all the author stuff. So it's not a craft class if that's what you were expecting. It's not going to tell you how to write better stories and such. I mean, that some of that comes through just because there's talk about genre and market and what does well in the book industry at the time, and like those types of trends. And so other than that, there's not any craft in it. It's strictly business sense. So if you were just starting out, I would say that would be a really good one to save up and take. I don't remember right off what I spent on it, but you can find it on her website at Heart Breathings. Really liked that class. Okay, let's see, what other questions? Ooh, this one is kind of about the change. So, and by the change, I mean, I used to write young adult books. That was what I mostly wrote. My first four books were geared towards a young adult audience. So The Arena, which is my only sci-fi book, is the very first book I ever wrote. That was written for young adults. It's sort of a Divergent meets Dune-esque book, and it's written for teenagers. And then the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series is also written for teenagers. But some people who have been with me for a really long time have asked, because they knew when I first pitched Curse of Wings and Darkness, I told everyone that I was writing a book about Angel, who is a character in book 2 of the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series. That's in Shade of the Shadowlands. He makes an appearance in that world briefly. He's a side character, and he's only in that book. But I knew as I wrote him that there was so much more there. And so I really wanted to explore it. And the more I looked into it, the more I wanted that book to be more of a new adult, a grown-up book. And so that is how I ventured out of young adult and into the steamy side of the new adult world. Are those books connected? Not really. I mean, it's the same world. In Curse of Wings and Darkness, it does get brought up that there are guardians, which are my characters in the Guardians of the Sixth Gate series. They're all guardians. They guard the gate to the Shadowlands, which is basically like the underworld in Greek mythology. And And so, yes, this like it's sort of the same magical world, it's the same magical principles, but all of the characters in Curse of Wings and Darkness are different. So yes, there are some Easter eggs. So if you are somebody who has read the Guardians of the Sixth Gate trilogy, there are a lot of really fun things in Curse of Wings and Darkness that you are going to recognize being mentioned, but you don't need to read the young adult series to get anything for Curse of Wings and Darkness. You don't have to read the Guardians of the Sixth Gate trilogy at all. You could just read my adult book if you wanted. But I couldn't help myself. And because I did steal Angel from that world, I did put a few Easter eggs in for those of you who have read both. So that is really the big difference. But that's why I ventured out. I felt like I had grown a lot too since writing young adult books, and the market, honestly, dark romance is pretty big right now, and romantasy especially is hot. Um, and so I really like reading that stuff. That's what I really enjoy reading, and I really like to write it. And so I thought, the timing is too perfect not to attempt it. And so I just decided to do what I've always done, which is write what I really feel pulled to write, first and foremost. And so I decided to go ahead and write Curse of Wings and Darkness because I knew as far as the market would go, it would work well with the trends. And so I did that. And then I had also had an idea for a dragon book a long time ago. And so as I was writing Curse of Wings and Darkness, Fourth Wing came out. And so I knew that, okay, this works perfect because I don't like to just write one thing forever and ever and ever. I like to go between two projects because it helps me decompress from like the really difficult things in each and fill my cup again. And so that's when I planned, okay, it's time to write the dragon book. So I also jumped onto the market trends to write Trial of Flame and Wings. So, yes, I don't typically write just based on what's popular at the moment. It just so happens that what's really popular tends to be right now are things I like to write. And so, and I had an idea. So I'd been saving them away and things just kind of lined up perfectly. So I am excited really for 2025 because I have some really cool books coming and it's a whole new era. I kept saying it's a new era of Amy Prokopis publishing because I am publishing my first ever in a new adult book with more steamy, risque, and darker themes to them. So I'm excited. Thank you, Angel, for the message. Happy release day. I've gotten so many kind messages. Online. You guys are so sweet. Jess says, it looks good on you though. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do feel like, I don't know what it is. I don't want to say like I'm better at writing this grown up steamier stuff than I am the young adult stuff. I think I am, and maybe that's strictly because I'm not in my 20s anymore. So I've sort of outgrown that era of life a bit. And so I don't have a ton of interest in returning to that anytime soon. I will say I do love young adulthood in general. Those of you who've been with me for a while know I am working through getting certified to be an LPC, which is a licensed professional counselor. I'm working with a really great agency that I adore, and everyone there has been so helpful and kind to me. And I've learned so much through the experience. And one thing I've really learned is that I do have kind of a knack for working with young adulthood and teenagers. And I really enjoy that. That's what I've worked with a lot before when I was in schools, worked with teens in schools, of course. So there's just something about that time period in your life where you're launching into growth really, really quickly and learning new things, exploring yourself, who you are, and a lot of people falling in love for the first time. And so young adulthood is fascinating to me and just comes with a lot of conflict and growth and experiences. So I do love writing young adult books, but I don't know. I feel like my writing life has sort of grown from that era into this new one. And my professional life, the Amy Prokopis, the future therapist, really enjoys that work in young adulthood, not writing so much in young adulthood right now. So, um, yeah, I think that's also a really nice way for me to keep my writing life and stuff separate from other areas of my life because what I write is so different than like what I do day to day. It has been kind of refreshing to move to different facets of life. So, um, what else? I feel like I'm kind of half answering these questions because I keep coming up with other thoughts of my own as I go. What else? Live. Oh, here's another thing. Live streams. I love doing these. I have always loved doing the Write With Me live on Sundays, and I am now kind of in a place again where I could start those back up and do my live writing sessions on Sundays. However, anymore I kind of use that time more fluidly for other things. I don't have because my whole schedule has changed now that my day job has changed and I'm writing more and I have more time for author things, my time is just in different places now. And so I don't know that I ever will get back to consistently doing my writing live streams. I am thinking about maybe doing them on Patreon and with Patreon members. So that is something I already said that earlier in this live stream, but Patreon is something I really want to do a lot more with. And so some of my new things coming to YouTube and online and other places going into 2025, I am planning on doing a lot for Patreon. And so you're going to get more bang for your buck essentially because I'm planning to put more on Patreon than what I currently do. Right now, my Patreon is $5 a month and it is early release information, arcs. You get access to like my early drafts. In about another month, I will start putting out the daily chapters. That was super fun. Putting out a daily chapter of the early draft of Frozen as Friends. That was super fun to do. I did that for Winter Witches. I posted them as I was writing them, the early draft of the book. That was super fun. And so you could see as it grows. And so right now, that's really what you get with my Patreon. Is early information and sneak peeks at stuff, but I want to expand that to be a couple other things. I want to have another kind of extended edition Patreon only video-esque show that I have planned. That is for sure coming. And I also want to talk more about publishing information and share my own documents, some of the tools that I use to keep me on track through the whole year, even. So I am planning to do more with my Patreon. And that does include maybe doing the writing sprints again weekly, but doing them on my Patreon account. So if you do really like those, or if you have any other ideas also of things you'd like to see on Patreon, let me know because I am happy to consider things. I love getting that kind of stuff. Same goes for YouTube. If you have an idea for a video, I would love to hear it because I really do like jot them all down and keep ideas. I have an entire section in my Excel sheet that I use for planning purposes. I have a whole tab at the bottom that is just YouTube brain dump, where I just toss in ideas I get. And some of them are really ridiculous things that I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I should probably just delete it off there. But I leave it because sometimes one idea leads to a better one. And so anything that you guys can throw at me that would be fun, I'm happy to consider it and see where it goes. You never know. Jessica says, I like these Patreon ideas. Yes, I do too. One of them It's something I wanted to do for a really, really long time. And I've been sitting on the idea because it's sort of a large undertaking. It would also require a lot of, not a lot, but quite a bit of commitment. Not the same commitment as like writing and publishing a book for me, but it would take a bit of commitment. And so I've sat on this idea for over a year. It's been like 2.5, definitely 2 years that I've been sitting on this idea, just kind of seeing how it would work. And forever it was that I don't have enough time to do it. And now I do. And so I've been planning out the details, what it would look like, where do I want to put it, what should go to Patreon, what should just go live for everybody. And so, yes, I've got lots of ideas for Patreon. It is about time. I feel like there's so much more I should be doing with Patreon. Yeah, but it is a really fun place for all of us to hang out. So I want to hang out there more often. So that's kind of what I have planned. I did think about increasing my price. I thought about adding another tier for all of these new elements, and I nixed the idea. I'm going to leave it at $5 a month. So $5 a month gets you Patreon, early access, all the fun stuff, short stories, early drafts, and then those future projects. So exclusive stuff. Really cool. Yeah, we keep getting off topic. What else? I need to find some questions where people would ask things about specifically this book, about Curse of Wings and Darkness or Curse of Blood and Sight, book 2. How many books are in this series? So I do have again, like I said earlier, I'm not quite a plotter. I don't outline a ton. I also just write by the seat of my pants. I do a mix of it. So I do have like a loose outline of the whole series where I see it going. And I do let me think. I think I can share with you guys some details because I've already released a little bit of it with Curse of Blood and Sight. So yes, I'm going to tell you guys a few things. So I think the Curse of Wings series will be 4 books, I think. If it becomes more than that, maybe. But I think for sure 4. This first book set a lot of the scene, gave us a lot of backstory. It gave us more about Angel and basically the supernatural elements, because there is some secrets in there that had to be uncovered before we can get into the big major reason that Angel is even where he is to run into Lily. But we find out that he's been searching for the cure for vampirism the whole time. And so that's where book 2 picks up. Is, as it said, if you've looked at the pre-order page and you've gotten my newsletter and such, it tells us we're going to New Orleans because Angel has to look for someone that can help him in his search for the cure to vampirism. So there is a cure, and there are things he needs in order to fulfill that cure, one of them being a person. And so, yes, we are going to spend, I think, the next 3 books gathering things in person. So I think it'll be 4 books for Curse of Wings. I think that Trial of Flame and Wings, my dragon book, I think that's going to be a longer series. I think it's going to be maybe 5 books. I haven't fully planned out the series, but I think it's going to be more like 5 books. It's much more of an epic fantasy. It's a lengthier story to be told. There are also several characters that I plan on bringing into it. And so to tell all of them their story, plus my main character's story, I think it's going to be more like 5 books to weave it all together, but we'll see. Yes. And then with Season of Witches, I've already said there's just the 3 books. It just follows the 3 sisters, but I did, when I rebranded Okay, let me grab it over here. When I decided to re-release Winter Witches with a new cover and a new steamy scene, something else I did was rebrand the series. Something I really liked that we actually discussed in Publish and Thrive, and I saw a lot of other authors in the romantasy-esque or dark romance especially. This is done a lot in dark romance, I've noticed. What a lot of them do is they develop like a series logo, and I really liked that idea, and I thought more about it, and I already knew that I had other series planned to branch off this one. And so I decided, because originally I was going to do them as separate series because they're separate, but I decided instead, let's put them under the same umbrella. And so what I did was I made, you guys have never seen this, or maybe you have. I think I posted it a couple places. I know it's on Patreon, but I developed a series. Let me get it in here. Series logo. It says Season of Witches, and there are several symbols there. And for some of you more astute people, you can probably guess at why there are different symbols. So, Winter Witches follows the winter seasons. They're winter witches. And so that same symbol for winter, you can't see it, but it's under the resell here on the spine. It's that same snowflake. So, Season of Witches, I'm planning to release trilogies of the different seasons. And I think I haven't fully decided because I do have some other ideas, but the next season that we may cover might be the summer. We might get some summer witches, but it's super fun. And these are lighter reads. They're a lot lighter. They're fluffy. And that's what I wanted them to be. And now that I've rebranded them, since we moved into this new era of Amy Prokopis publishing and we started to write more adult-esque things, I wanted to really up my game as well with this one. So yes, it is a lighter story. The stakes are not as high as with like my other fantasy books. These are just supposed to be like lighthearted things. And so they are a lot steamier than what they were originally planned to be. And I am very happy with that decision. So I am excited. They'll be a really good palate cleanser. I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I read a fantasy book, for instance, I'm in the middle of Throne of Glass right now. I'm almost at the tandem read. I'm near the end of the series, but I've had to take pauses between reading those books because they are so deep and sometimes dark. I've needed to take pauses, and then I've gone to read really light, sexy books on the side, just as a break between the really dark, heavy fantasy elements and then the lower stakes, fun, contemporary books. And so that's how I tend to read. And so it only made sense that I should write that way. So that is what I've done. So I will, and for the foreseeable future, write sort of these fluffier, lighter fantasy romances. And then I will also write these darker, sort of deeper, heavier fantasy romances. I think it works for me. I'm not the only other author out there that kind of does this. Katie Wismer also does this. She has a fantasy romance, the Marionette series, which is really cool. It's great. And she also writes contemporary romance, and she just released a contemporary romance. So I decided that works best for me. And yeah, not everyone's going to like the light and fluffy stuff. Not everyone will like the darker stuff, but it's what I want to write. And when you write what you want to, it comes through better and it just works out. So that's my plan. He's so here for that. Thank you, Jessica. Angel says that's so cute and I love it. Thank you. And Jessica says she also does that. I'm assuming you mean like reading reading darker stuff and then reading something lighter. It's just a nice break between stuff. I've really liked doing that. Keeps me fresh. Angel says, love her books. Don't read contemporary, but I liked hers, so maybe I do like it. Yes. Those are really fun. She also has a really cool Patreon. And actually, when I went in and kind of revamped my Patreon the last few weeks, there's a place where you could suggest like similar accounts to yours that your following may also enjoy. And I went in and I added her. So she's got some cool stuff on her Patreon as well, and her YouTube. She's also on YouTube. And she's also an editor. There's quite a few similarities between the two of us, actually. I've only talked with her a few times, though. I don't know her super well. What else? Let's see. It is 2:17. We've been here together almost an hour. I think we're about at the point where we'll wind down a little bit. I'm not going to do any writing today, so this won't be any kind of writing sprints. I do think I may look at doing that again, especially with Patreon. So I may do a trial run of that for those of you who are Patreon members. May do a trial run of the sprints just to see what we think. Plus, it is kind of nice to have. It's nice for accountability. I used to use it for accountability so that I was consistently writing when my schedule was really difficult. And it was helpful. It was nice because sometimes just um, getting your butt in the chair is hard, if that makes sense. It's similar to what some people say about going to the gym. It's really hard to work out and to take the time to work out, but it's putting on your running shoes and going to the Y or going to Planet Fitness or whatever your gym is. It's actually getting there that's the hard part. Once you're there, it's most people have no trouble at all getting started, right? And so it's sort of the same for me. So it was nice for the accountability. Um, any other questions? I think I've worked through the ones I noted anyway on Instagram, or at least variations of them, because I did kind of go off script a little. And I can't think of anything else I've been asked recently or anything on YouTube. A couple people have reached out on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. My publishing timeline is pretty set now. What you guys have heard is pretty much what it'll be for the next few years, just because I'll be working through 2 different series of books, and then I'll start a new one for Season of Witches. Yeah. So I think I've shared a lot. I think everyone's got like a pretty clear view now of where I'm going. It was a little muddy there for a while because I had so many releases in the fall. But now that we're through that, and we're almost at the new year, I don't know about you guys, but I do goal setting for myself every single year. And then I do a mid-year check-in. That is always super, super fun. And I was really successful with my goals this year. So I'm interested to see what 2025 will be. October, November is when I start to set my goals and intentions for the new year. So I am already like months ahead in my mind as far as like books and publishing and what things look like. So I, yeah, I feel good. I'm in a good place, and I hope you guys are too. Angel says, I am a planning fiend. Me too. I have a whole system for how I plan out my entire year of publishing and then how I plan each month individually, all the way down to what I'm doing per week. So I am the same way. I love it. It just makes me feel better to clear my head that way. Oh man. Okay. Well, I think that this is where I leave you guys. So thanks for chatting with me. Thank you guys for celebrating with me and sharing Curse of Wings and Darkness. I'm so excited that this book is out. If you liked Curse of Wings and Darkness and you would like to continue on with the series, you can go and pre-order Curse of Blood and Sight on Amazon. It's only on Kindle right now. All of my ebooks are only on Kindle because they're in Kindle Unlimited. So right now, only the ebook is on pre-order, but you can go and secure your copy if you would really like to continue reading about Angel and Lily. I promise. Book 2 gets steamier. Oh my goodness. I've already written some scenes, and it gets a lot steamier. We're going to get a lot more romance, and then the plot will thicken because we get into the cure for vampirism. So it will get really fun from there. It's going to be a really wild ride, and I think we're all going to like it. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. I also hope the rest of the day goes smoothly. Right now, I've already gotten everything done this morning, so now I'm just celebrating the day and yeah, planning and writing my next release. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, as always, read books, be kind, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Oh my